Welcome to Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O, episode 56. We're very excited. We're talking about breakout NFL players heading into this 2025 season who we think are players to watch and our reasons why. We'll also talk about ACC football, the preview, who we think is going to make some noise this year. And I have a shocking preseason rankings for the ACC football. There's some extremely low expectations for a certain team, which was very surprising for me. And then also we're talking about Tommy Fleetwood, which maybe a lot of people don't know who that is, but he's a wealthy man today.
Yeah,
But before we get into all that, we want to thank our title sponsor, Elite Performance Chiropractic, owned by, and the chiropractor there is Jeremy Phillips. He's a former professional football player and a college football player in this part of the woods, this neck of the woods, and former guest on the show. He'll be on the show next week, giving some insights into the NFL. But two great locations. They have all the certificates, all the training, all the technology to get you feeling better than ever. Elite Performance Chiropractic help people of all ages, all different types of either injuries or things going on, whether sports or otherwise, get you back on your feet better than ever. And two locations, Greensboro and Winston-Salem. All the information can be found on the website, Elite Performance Chiropractic.
Nice.
All right, Johnny.
Top 3 NFL players to have a breakout season I got 3. We'll do, I guess we each have about 3 guys here. Who will put up the career best numbers to make a huge impact? So that's kind of tough to do, but I came up with, you want to go, I'll do one, you do one, or how
Sure,
you want to do it?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
My first one is going to be Arizona Cardinal Marvin Harris Jr. Remember him out of Ohio State. He had a good rookie season last year. He started off scoring in the first 4 games. He had 4 touchdowns. Okay, so everyone, oh my God, this guy's going to light it up. The rest of the season, which is 13 more games, he only had 4 more touchdowns. But still, as a rookie, 8 touchdowns and a bunch of yards and a bunch of catches. But he really didn't, he's got Kyler Murray throwing to him. It was his rookie season. I believe he is going to just explode this year. That's a fun team to watch. I don't think they're going to make any noise, as far as playoffs or anything like that. But with his talent and pedigree, of course, his dad, Marvin Harrison, Hall of Famer and ex-Syracuse University wide receiver. Boy, those were the days when we had him. Completely unchanged. And he learned a lot of lessons from season 1. So I really think he's going to have a huge 2025 campaign. I absolutely love this kid. What do you think? I mean, this guy is just made for the NFL. And his dad, Marvin Harrison, was kind of he was about 5'11", maybe 6 foot, $180 or whatever, and he was just a dynamic wide receiver with Peyton Manning for Indianapolis. This guy's got all that talent and size. He's like 6'3", 220. So this guy's a stud.
Yeah, I like him, and Kyler Murray. I think it's like his 7th season starting at quarterback, which is like, dang, he's been in the league that long. They definitely could put up numbers if he could stay healthy. So yeah, I like to. And wide receivers, their importance has only gone through the roof as we've seen quarterbacks numbers go through the roof. So he's a fun young player to watch. Mine, I think, is going to have a breakout season is Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers. I think nice. 2nd season under their head coach, offensive-minded head coach. We saw glimpses of it last year as he got time to throw the ball. And I think as he gets more time and more reps, his height has been an issue. But I think, the games that I think we went to the same game 2 years ago where he had time to throw the ball, and we're like, okay, just like any quarterback, if you have time to throw the ball, you can make some plays. But I think this is going to be a breakout season. I think the Panthers will probably finish 2nd in the NFC South behind Tampa Bay. And so I think their team overall is going to be much improved, but it starts at quarterback. I think he has he's cool, calm, and collected. I think he can make all the throws. We know he can make all the throws, and he can scramble. He has escapability. So I think third year, I think the chaos has settled down from, the Panthers seem like having different coaches all the time. Second year, I think we should see vast improvement from Bryce Young. I'm not calling Saints to be a Pro Bowler, but I think substantial improvement where people were talking about, okay, Bryce Young should be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I hope so, man. It's hard to dislike that kid. I was rough on him on his rookie season because I was just disappointed. I didn't think he was a real NFL quarterback, but he's got me a believer. So I'm with you on that one. He really did look good his last 4, 5, 6 games last year. So, and we're right here in Carolina. When the Panthers are good, boy, it's a lot of fun in Carolina.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of hoping, and as long as they got him protection. This kid is so smart. I mean, he's a smart football player. And of course he's got a bunch of talent, but I saw him, he still hasn't put much weight and size on. So he's got me a little concerned with that, but no, I'm all for him. I'll be rooting for him this year. And hopefully the Panthers can show us a little something good. My next guy, I think it's going to be very, very interesting. This Ashton Genty, the running back, you've loved this guy when he was in college, man.
Yes, I do. Yes,
playing for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think he's going to be definitely the featured running back for Pete Carroll, who's back coaching in Vegas. He's going to get a lot of carries if he stays healthy. I think his rookie year, he's just going to have an unbelievable rookie season, and maybe I'd like to see him get about 13 to 1,500 yards rushing and score a bunch of touchdowns because he's got the talent. If he can stay healthy, look out for him. And I believe Pete Carroll will utilize him a lot in the backfield, and I believe he can catch the ball too. So throw him the ball too. Get that ball. He's a playmaker. So I'm really anxious to see him have a breakout rookie season. Because I think he's got that kind of ability.
Yeah, and I just like his size. I mean, his size and speed. And like you said, he can catch the ball in the backfield, and he's kind of the throwback. He's like a Marshawn Lynch, and throwback for like 10 years ago. Not a throwback, but kind of with a big – and we're talking about wide receivers have had more value. Running backs, I think, a lot because of Derrick Henry and others – they're starting to get paid a lot more because at first it was like, oh, you can have 2 or 3 running backs and running back by committee, but now they're starting to go back to like we have a stud like Saquon Barkley, and others. Then it can really make a huge difference and make your quarterback look a lot better. That's for sure. Yeah. All right, my second breakout performer is another quarterback, Drake May, and that's not because I'm a Tar Heel fan. I think with the addition of Mike Vrabel at the head for the Patriots. Now, this is the thing I hate about the NFL is the Pro Bowl. I know they're trying to change all that. Now it's the Pro Bowl games. It's different. But, like, even with that, all these players, like, we don't want to play. So, technically, Drake May was a Pro Bowler last year, which is a freaking joke. Nothing against him as a rookie.
He went to the Pro Bowl?
Yes, he filled in for Josh Allen. So he was like the 6th or 7th ACC or AFC quarterback because all these players were like, we're not doing it. And so, I mean, this was his numbers last year. He started 12 games and he had 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. That should never be a Pro Bowler. No. At that point, they should just say, we don't have anybody else because they're playing flag football or whatever anyway. Who cares? It's like, seriously. I mean, now that's in 12 games. So if you add 5 more games, he might have 20 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. I mean, that's just nothing about that says a Pro Bowler. But I do think he showed enough last year that I think he'll have a legit breakout season. He can scramble. He had 421 yards rushing in 12 games. So, you put that out there. He's probably 600-700 yards rushing. I think he'll throw for close to 4,000 yards. And Mike Vrabel is such a good coach and should have never been let go by the Tennessee Titans. And I think he's going to lead them back to relevancy. Now, I don't think it's going to happen this year, but they're going to be much improved. The Patriots obviously were really bad last year, but I think he has it all. I mean, he's actually who I wanted Washington to get because I didn't know anything about Jaden Daniels. I'm glad that wasn't the case. But May has that he can do it all. He's like 6'4", 225 pounds.
Big. He's a big
guy.
dude. Yeah.
You know, he comes from an athletic family. His dad played quarterback at Carolina. That isn't, you know, there is pedigree. Pedigree does play a part. Look at the Manning family. So I really do think he'll have a breakout season and be a fun, now that they have stable leadership again at the head coaching position in New England.
No, I like that pick. I mean, that guy's just a born quarterback. He reminds me of like a Manning type. I mean, he's just big and, you know, smart, and just he's got all the tools, man.
Got married in the off season. I mean, like he's like a mature guy. I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but you know.
Well, me either, man. That boy.
He's 22.
But don't listen to us, listeners. Don't, you know, maybe marriage is a good thing. I don't know, but
pro athlete and you're 23, no thanks. But anyway, but it does show that he's probably grounded. You like somebody leading your $6 billion franchise. Okay, I'd rather have a boring guy that's at home on the weekends.
As long as they upgraded and helped him, you know, got offensive line, got, you know, get him some weapons. No, you know, I believe he is going to have a real good season this year, but I think it's going to take time in New England because they're trying to rebuild. And once, it's not going to take him long, especially with Vrabel at the helm. You know, maybe this year, boy, if they can get to 500 or, you know, in that maybe 9 wins, but then look out for them next year, you know, because Drake May is the real deal and definitely he's going to be at some time a big time NFL quarterback.
100%.
Now, I got another quarterback here. I'm kind of rooting for him. I liked him at USC. He took a beating last year. Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams. And, you know, a lot of people are talking about him. But the Bears did upgrade a lot for Caleb, you know, to try to be successful. You know, let's you know, get him the tools that he needs because he does have the talent. And the key to that whole thing is Coach Ben Johnson, man. I mean, you know, you can't ask for a better offensive genius mind. You know, I mean, he made Jared Goff, you know, he completely turned his career into, you know, to have an outstanding career. So I'm kind of hoping that is the difference. I think, you know, having a coach, you know, work on all his you know, all of the good things that he does, because he does a lot of good things. DJ Moore is his primary receiver. You know, I wish they would get him a little bit more help on the receiving end of it, but I think he's going to have a breakout year. They upgraded the offensive line. I don't care. We've said it a million times, and it's just, you know, it's common knowledge. Give these quarterbacks time, and they'll do very well for you. It's all about the offensive line. So, but he's got so much talent. That's another big guy. You know, he can throw the ball. Look out for the Bears. They're in a very tough division, man.
Yeah, they are.
You know, if they, you know, I hate to say it. I mean, how can you pick them? What's that? They're probably going to come in 4th place again. You know, I mean, how there's no way we can pick them over Green Bay. Maybe Minnesota. No, Minnesota's loaded, you know, with all kinds of weapons too. And Detroit's just unbelievable. So he's going to have a tough task, but I think he's going to surprise a lot of people with a lot of great games and give Chicago fans, hey, you know, in the very, very near future, we can be that Detroit or Minnesota in this division sooner than later.
Yeah, I like the Ben Johnson pickup. To me, you know, if if Washington didn't have, because he was supposed to go to Washington 2 years ago, and he canceled his interview mid-flight and just turned around and said, I'm not coming. And they're like, they thought this was unprofessional, but look, whatever. I like what we got in Washington as far as a defensive-minded head coach that's actually smart enough to let their offensive coordinator, who I think is now the best offensive coordinator that's not a head coach in the league with Washington outside of Ben Johnson. I mean, this is – I just think he's going to put them in positions, Ben Johnson, to win games that they otherwise would not. And apparently he's extremely strict for a young guy. They said he's all over Caleb. He's like, do it again. No, do it again. Get him out of here. Get somebody else in here. Like he's He's not playing, and that's kind of old school with a young dude. Usually, the young dudes, Sean McVay, they seem cool and all stuff. They can be tough sometimes, but they seem like more of a player's coach. He's kind of a mix. He's kind of a hybrid of a player's coach, but then he'll put it on you, which I can appreciate.
I like that. Well, hey, if Caleb listens, I think he will. I think Caleb's that guy, that he wants to be coached and he wants to be successsucul. So we'll see what happens.
All right. For me, I love quarterbacks. It's all quarterbacks for me. The other one, now it's not a breakout season for his career, but a breakout season for the last few years where people have written him off. And I really want this to happen, and I think it can happen. Aaron Rodgers. At the age of 41, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a shockingly good season. I think with DK Metcalf, I think Mike Tomlin, they're going to win 9 or 10 games. You know that going in. Although they're in a brutal division. Brutal. This could be tough. This could be the year that they don't win, that they're going to be under 500. But I just think the Jets, people forget. You go to the Jets to die. I mean, Brett Favre was 500 with the Jets. He went to Minnesota, and he's one stupid pass away, throwing against his body in the NFC Championship with the Vikings. From they're already in field goal range. They would have gone to the Super Bowl with Brett Favre, and that was after he was written off by the Jets. I think there's some similarities. I don't think the Steelers are as good as that Vikings team was, but I think in these those Achilles injuries are no joke. I think it's a year plus now recovered from that, almost 2 years from that. And so I guess almost 2 years recovered. We forget the dude won the MVP. He's been MVP 4 times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago. And DK Metcalf can take the top off. Now, do they have a great offensive line? I don't know, but I do. I'm thinking he's going to throw for 4,000 plus yards, 30-ish touchdowns, and 5 or 6 interceptions. And he's going to be, a Pro Bowler once again. And people are like, oh, why do we count Aaron Rodgers out? I would not count Aaron Rodgers out with the Steelers. I think it's the best possible, other than Minnesota, which he wanted to go to. I think Minnesota made a huge mistake passing a 1-year deal with Aaron Rodgers, because I think that they're one player away to me from going to the Super Bowl from the NFC, or being close, or at least contending for it. And then they're going to rely on J.J. McCarthy. I think that's just – they must see something that we don't see, because I don't see that at all. And you brought that up first a couple weeks ago. I don't see it either. Aaron Rodgers, your boy.
A breakout season for what's he going to be? 64, 65 years old for crying out loud? No, he's a prima donna. The only thing going for him, I mean, obviously he is a very talented quarterback. Okay. But Father Time, man, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see the first 4 or 5 games. But the best thing he made the best decision of going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well coached. They will utilize him the right way. I believe he will listen, and do exactly what Tomlin wants him to do. If they stay together, him and Tomlin are, in the same head, he could be dangerous, but I just don't see it happening. I know I'm not a fan of him, just as a person, but because he does think he's they used to compare him with Tom Brady. You can't even compare that. Okay. And I know Brady played until he was 43 or 44. I don't see Aaron Rodgers doing it. And this is going to be his last year. So maybe he's going to give it his all. But it's a good pick. I mean, he's got the talent to do it. And you know what? He knows how to work out, and he's so smart, and he's played this game for so long. It could be, that is going to be a very interesting little football system to watch. And Pittsburgh's always good anyway.
Well, I wanted to say Russell Wilson, because I just don't understand how he fell off so dramatically. Russell Wilson, because with the Steelers, he actually had a decent season last year for the games he played. Russell Wilson, not bad, but not great, but not bad. And then they're like, no thanks, because I think they want Aaron Rodgers. But but I think I was going to say Russell Wilson to almost like a comeback season. This is, obviously they've been to the mountaintop, both of them, so it's not their first breakout season. But, careers can have multiple lives. Look at Sam Darnold and your boy Baker Mayfield, right?
A lot younger.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Peyton or Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, you can't even compare.
Yeah,
that guy. He did things that was just incredible.
They said you could break his career into 3 places, Tom Brady, and each 3 iterations would be Hall of Fame careers.
Oh my gosh!
Like his first 10 years first 6 years with the Patriots, Hall of Famer. The next, until he went to Tampa Bay, next 10 years, whatever, the Patriots, Hall of Famer. They said you can make an argument just the 3 years or 2 or 3 years of Tampa Bay, Hall of Fame type numbers.
Now we get to see these last 2 or 3 years of who he dates now. I mean, that's kind of fun to watch.
And he can easily be the GOAT. He can date whoever he wants. But I think the reason I didn't go with Russell Wilson as like a comeback breakout for this part of his career, the media is already on Jackson Dart like he's the next best thing, and he's going to have a short leash. And I think if Russell stumbles for a game and a half, Dart's going to be in there. I think they already have packages for him, and So I don't know what Russell Wilson doesn't get the respect that I think he deserves, but we're not in the locker room, so I don't know. I don't get it. All right, let's think our other sponsors. I think you got all those, my man. You're our sponsor, dude.
Estate Jewelry and Loan, something old, something new at Estate Jewelry. Has a great selection of new and estate jewelry, and you can really find a nice piece in Brian's showroom. His showroom is over on Battleground Ave at 2511 Battleground Ave. And you can check out and see, about gold and watches and diamonds and all that kind of good stuff at estatejewelryloan.com. And you got Salsarita's Fresh Mexican Grill. I got to mention my buddy over there, Miguel, he kind of runs those restaurants. He hired both my kids back when they were in high school, and he's still there, and he still does a hell of a job. They are located in High Point at the Palladium and in Greensboro in the Target Shopping Center on New Garden Road. He's got food trucks, a lot of catering he does, daily specials, and you can find them obviously on salsaritas.com. And then if you're looking for some insurance, Schenck and Torrance Insurance is the place to be. Located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire Triad and state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. You can reach them at 336-310-1320 for all your insurance needs. And our man, Davis Troxler, over at Tee It Up Indoor Golf on Battleground Ave. He's got 3 simulators that you can play over 100,000 golf courses. It doesn't matter what the weather is, go over there. It's really kind of a neat system he's got there. He's got a full golf store in there, and if you go, please mention us, and he will give you a free half hour in one of the simulators. Just mention awesome. Jared or Johnny O, and he will do that for you. That's what we got.
Awesome. If you want to be a part of the podcast, we have tremendous reach on social media and otherwise. We get your business out there. Just hit up Johnny Sports Carolina at gmail.com or just on any social media platform you see us, send us a message. The rates are favorable for you as of right now. That will change as we take over for Stephen A. Smith and others. Okay. So ACC football preview. I'll just go ahead and say it right now. Belichick has nothing to lose. They have him finishing 8th. Carolina finishing 8th. Out of 17 teams in the ACC. What disrespect that is for Belichick. And, he's at least going to have they're going to be a top 4 team in the ACC. I don't think they can't compete with Clemson. They can't compete with Miami right now because they're getting 5-star athletes. And, they brought in a lot of transfers. But just Carolina's defensive schemes are going to be so much better than any other coach. Now, they don't have all the players, but you have the greatest defensive mind, in my opinion, of all time in Belichick. His son's there, which is a serial killer extension of himself. His son is just bizarre to me. The way he looks, I'm sure he's a nice guy. Steven or whatever. But you have the greatest defensive mind of all time, and you have them finishing 8th in the ACC? Are you kidding me? I know I'm a Carolina fan, but that's a joke. If he was coaching Syracuse or coaching any team, and he brought all the people he brought in, and he's got the money now, the NIL money and all the stuff, the infrastructure, and the greatest Some would say professional head coach of all time, and you don't have him finishing higher than 8th. That's a joke to me. So I don't have any disagreement with Clemson finishing first. It's probably going to happen, but to me, that's the headline. Belichick 8th with the Tar Heels. They're going to be better than 8th.
I find that interesting. That's lack of respect a little bit there, but 8th, and it's not like the ACC is some power conference.
Right.
I know they're called a power conference, but they're not.
They're
so
top heavy.
And just to mention my team last year, Fran Brown came over from Georgia his first year, okay, and they had him way down, and he ended up 10-3 last year. So preseason ranking or ranking, especially in the conferences, again, mean nothing. So I wouldn't worry about that. That's just a little bit of lack of respect, and that's just good. That's billboard stuff for them. I'm sure Belichick will definitely take advantage of that.
I think Carolina will finish in the top 4 in the ACC. I really do. Right now, according to this preseason poll of media, they have the top 5. They have Louisville at 5, Georgia Tech at 4, and they actually got 2 first-place votes. That's surprising. I mean, they're improved, of course. SMU has a lot of NIL money. They got a lot of money in Texas, boy. And
they do. And
then Miami, and then Clemson at number 1. Hold on. I thought I plugged in my computer. You go ahead.
Yep. Well, you got – I tell you what, I hate the preseason ratings and all that kind of stuff, but there's a few games this weekend, which are huge and will tell us a little bit about what the ACC is going to be. The first one of the games is Notre Dame, who is number 6 in the country. Okay, of course they're not in the ACC standings because they are Notre Dame, but they play Miami, who's number 10 in the nation. Okay, Notre Dame and Miami to start the season. What a Carson Beck over from Georgia, a quarterback in Miami. So we're going to see what kind of team Miami is, everything is kind of pointing that they're going to be a hell of a football team. Another game that will kind of show us what we're looking into. Number 9 LSU against Clemson. Number 4 Clemson. Dabo Swinney. This is they're talking about him. He's going to get back in the playoffs this year. Again, this is all preseason talk, but I'd like to see it. And he's got this Cade Klubnik, who's, been quarterbacking for a couple of years for him. And when he's got a good quarterback, Clemson's usually very, very good. So that will be a deciding game. Let's see how they I think it's in Clemson, LSU and Clemson. 2 more games. I know, Syracuse is not going to be, a top 10 or top 15 team, but they had a hell of a year last year. They're playing Tennessee the first game in Tennessee. They're number 24, Tennessee. So that's a hell of a game. And we're going in with our new quarterback, transfer from Notre Dame, Steve Angeli. Let's see if he can do some Kyle McCord magic that we had last year. But, we shall see. But Fran Brown, our coach, has done a hell of a job. So they'll be ready. But they got the toughest schedule. They got Tennessee. And then I forget who they got in the second game, but then they got Clemson like their 3rd or 4th game. So we're going to find out about Syracuse in a hurry.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
sorry, but they had Syracuse finishing 12th in the ACC after the season.
After that season.
12th.
Who knows, man?
Yeah.
And then you got TCU in Carolina. That's on Labor Day evening. That's going to be kind of fun to watch. Now, is Carolina starting that South Alabama transfer, that Gia Lopez, I guess?
Last I heard, but I don't know if it's been finalized. Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's a decent quarterback. He had 18 touchdowns or whatever last year, but it was for South Alabama. But I looked at their roster. They got 5 or 6 quarterbacks on that roster. So that's going to be
Belichick. He's not going to be married to anybody unless they're good.
That's right. That's right.
There's no sentiment.
But Clemson's obviously the cream of the crop. Miami, you got to go with. like you said, SMU's got a bunch of money, and they had a hell of a year last year. They're number 16, but it's almost like the national rating said, "Oh, you know what? We better keep them in there." I don't know. I don't know if that's respect either, and I don't know how good they're going to be because I think they did lose a lot from last year's team.
Yeah.
But other teams to watch, Louisville's always good. For some reason, they always have a decent football team. North Carolina, of course. I think Syracuse is a team to watch. And believe it or not, Duke is a team to watch. They're well coached, and they've had, their last couple of years have been very good. And they have taken advantage of the transfer portal as well. So we'll see.
Where do you think Syracuse will finish, and where do you think Carolina will finish?
Well, I didn't really do it from top to bottom, but I'm Syracuse is going to be in the middle of the pack. They just have such a difficult schedule this year. It's wait until you see it. After we get off the air here, just look at their schedule. It is unbelievable. Again, Clemson, Tennessee, Miami is away, Notre Dame. I mean, that's rough. You would think we won the national championship last year.
Right. Yeah, we're the cupcakes. Man.
But I'm thinking middle of the pack, and I think they might surprise a team or two. We got 10 wins last year. If we can get 7 or 8, I'd be happy.
Yeah, well, and then also the ACC record will determine a lot of as well. Like they could have a bad non-conference and still do decently in the ACC, although you said their ACC schedule is rough too. All right, interesting. We'll see what happens. Exciting football is back and starting this week, and then the NFL in full swing the following week. So the guy, and I'll be honest, I follow sports, as you know. I have a sports podcast with you, but I've never heard of this Tommy Fleetwood. He looks like Joe Exotic. He looks like Joe Exotic from Tiger King's brother. A non-prison version. Got the mullet going or whatever, at least with the hat on, maybe just long hair. Never heard of him. The dude's rich. I mean, he's rich before, but he made a lot of money. Yeah. What can you tell us about Tommy Fleetwood?
Couple interesting things about Tommy Fleetwood. He's been around for a while. He's a hell of a golfer. He just hasn't won a tournament here in the PGA in the United States. Now he's won 7 tournaments in the European whatever you call it tour, which is great. So he knows how to win, but he just has been so close for so many years and so many times in the United States that he just couldn't get over the hump or whatever. But he's had 164 total events that he has played. Okay. He's made the cut 140 out of those. So he's a consistent, outstanding golfer. Top 5s. In the top 5, he has 31 of those. Okay.
Wow.
So he's made some cash, man. Top 5s pay over, almost $1 million.
I've seen Happy Gilmore. I know how it works.
Top 10s 45 times in the top 10. So let's not feel too bad for him. First of all, here's an interesting little tidbit. He's married, I think 4 or 5, 2006, well, almost 9 years now, okay, to a woman that's 23 years older than him. He's 34. She's 57 years old.
Okay, there's something wrong with him. Nobody does that.
Good looking.
No guy.
No, just the opposite.
You don't reverse. You can't be the reverse Belichick. You don't reverse Belichick as a dude. You're a pro golfer and you're dating someone who's 18 years older than you. You said, or married to?
23 years older.
23? Yes. No.
He's 34. No, he's got all the money in the world.
Where's he from?
I thought that was very, very interesting. I just found that out yesterday, and I've known about Tommy Fleetwood.
All your stats, and you have great stats. You're a nugget guy. That is the best nugget that you've ever given. His wife is 23 years older than him?
Yes. But she looks good. Don't get me wrong. But
I don't know. But dudes don't do that.
I know.
Dudes don't do that. I mean, you
Tommy
might have like
Tommy Fleetwood does it.
Yeah, backup dancer for Madonna might do it. They're aspiring rapper or Cher, but like not someone that's accomplished. That's shocking. Wow.
And the key to that is she was against it. She was kind of saying, I don't know, this age difference, from what I forget where I was hearing it. I'm hoping it's real news. I think it is. I think it was on the Golf Channel that, she just said, I don't know, the age difference is extreme. It really is.
Yes. Yes. Not to be hypocritical with men, it just doesn't happen. You just rarely see, especially someone wealthy and accomplished. You might see it the other way around with maybe the prime minister or the president of France. I think his wife is substantially older than him, but you don't see it very often. I think it was his teacher or something like that. Yeah.
Well, you know how when you win the tournament, usually the wife comes out on the green afterwards and all that. Well, she wasn't there, but Tommy's stepson was there. Okay, he comes out. I'm not kidding you. Kim and I were watching the tournament yesterday. He's just as old as Tommy.
Yeah, I bet.
And that's what made us think. I had to look it up. I'm going, what do you mean stepson? The guy had to be at least 28, 30 years old. Okay.
Wow.
Gave him a hug and he was there. So then I read up on it. It's a really cool story. It really is. I know we're joking about it, but you know what?
Not cool to me. Cool.
You want to hear something real cool?
Yeah.
He's made $19 million playing golf this year. He's made a total of $60 million playing golf over his career. And he probably makes another 20 or 25 million on endorsements, and he does have the long hair, he's kind of known for that.
Where'd you say he was from again?
He's from England.
England. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I read something that he made the most money on the PGA for someone who had never won.
Mm-hmm.
And so until yesterday. So yeah, he's not doing too bad. By the way, I'm not giving Belichick a pass. Belichick being 50 years older is gross, but you just don't hear that. I mean, Johnny, do you know people that do that? They marry a man marrying someone much older than them. You rarely hear that.
Now, if the woman was some rich, very rich, lady, but it's just the opposite. He's the rich one,
right?
You know what I mean?
Makes no sense.
It's beyond belief. It's awesome. It's a great
endorsements for K&W, Insure, Depends. His wife can be in the I'm sure she's a nice lady.
Oh my God! Oh
wow! What a nugget!
Hey,
if it works, it works. If people can make it work, I'm happy because it's hard to make it work. So good for them.
I love it. That's good stuff. So look, you got to look her up. Tommy, her name's Claire Fleetwood. But good stuff. I'm happy for him. But back to Tommy. I mean, America or all these golf fans just jumped on board with him during these, because he just missed on a couple tournaments. And then this FedEx playoffs that pay so much money. There's 3 tournaments. It starts off 70 players, and then the next tournament it's 50, and then the last tournament's 30 players. But he finished 4th in the first tournament, 3rd in the second tournament, and then won this last one. So he's on fire. And just in those tournaments, he made about like $14 or $15 million.
Wow. Well, and I know, I think they said you can correct me if I'm wrong. He had like 6 straight rounds of shooting under 65, something like that.
I don't know what that is.
6 to 8 rounds.
That's Scotty Scheffler. Scheffler's been shooting in the 60s since for the past 2 years, which is crazy. But
right.
But he's been hot for sure, Tommy Fleetwood, and I was so happy he hung on. But he went into number 18 3 strokes ahead, so he had it in the bag, which was nice. So he could relax a little bit, So, but that's the scoop, man. Golf is.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, he said he finished the season with 21 consecutive rounds in the 60s. Fleetwood, I think.
Oh my gosh, is
that right? Make sure I got that right.
Oh, I bet it is.
I mean, of course, Scheffler is like insane,
right?
But let's see. He closed with 2 under 68. Yeah.
The only
First
problem
PGA title, 164 tries. Blah blah blah. Sorry.
The only problem now is we're going to have to deal with him because he's going to
Go
be
ahead.
on the opposite team at the Ryder Cup, which is at the end of September, which is always just absolutely phenomenal golf. I mean, these guys are just fighting for their countries, man. It's pretty wild, and it's in New York this year, so that's going to be very, very interesting. It gets a little crazy there. So,
Well,
what's that?
yeah, well, that's gonna be good then. But then
Yeah,
also, you talked about last week. You talked last week about how Scheffler needs a nemesis or needs like a number two, like a Phil
yeah,
Mickelson to Tiger. Maybe it's Fleetwood. Maybe it's Fleetwood. And then, if they're battling for all these things, that makes it a lot more interesting.
yep. And with a win like this, all of a sudden he'll probably win about 3 or 4 or 5 next year. Once you get over that hump, you just start winning the way he's playing. So, but good stuff. Love it, man. All right, man. Great show. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Overtime pay. We're talking the overtime play. The big stories, the big plays, the big drama. We got